What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classic Climb blog, getting ready to do several new projects for this summer and for the rest of the year. Again, we're 9 days away until 2.0 launches for Rise of the 20%, and also 2.0 for the YouTube class, how to have a six-figure YouTube business. And so the title of the video is how to get out of dead-end jobs. Now here, I want to frame it a little bit better, right? And again, if you want to get in those classes and you want to get in before the prices go up, April 24th, which is 9 days from now, use the 50% off coupon code, New Life, all one word, New Life. It's about to get lit in here. Okay. Now, first thing is people go, Erica, listen, I'm in a dead end job. I get on these consulting calls. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And we start talking, we start hearing what makes this job a dead end job. And eventually what ends up happening is it not the job. It's the people at the job. It's the people, the interactions, the management, everything but the job, right? And so a lot of times people want to justify, I'm fearful that I'll be stuck here at this job forever with, I want to go revenge. I want to quit. I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to run my own business. And a lot of times there's a hopelessness kind of in the fear mode, but in revenge, you feel empowered. You feel like you can do something, right? So prime example, people break up and then that guy or that girl, because I've seen it both ways, start jogging every day, running and working out and be like, I'm going to show you that I'm worthy of love or attention or whatever it is, this desire they're trying to fulfill. And I want you to get out of that fear mode or the revenge mode. I want you to kind of skein up from there, right? Now, listen, here's the thing. I went to Scale Systems conference and I went to a conference before that, and I got a conference I'm going to tomorrow and a conference next week. And what I really want people to understand is, like, nothing about your situation changes unless you change. And a lot of people want to sit in the same exact place with the same exact friends, with the same exact house, with just more money, right? Everybody wants a hot model girlfriend, but they don't have any money and they don't have the hot model requirements. They just don't have the things that would require getting access to that dream life. And a lot of times what you want to do is, people are like, there's a lot of trauma bonding on the internet. Okay. A lot of people are out here angry. Oh my God, I can't believe, crime is up and nobody has a job and we're all out here terrible and destitute. And that's just not the case. Like, every time I go to a conference or I go to different cities or I travel and I move, I see people thriving. I see people living well. I see people having businesses that I never even heard of. And I really get encouraged. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, to be very clear. At the last couple conferences I went to, I've been introduced to about a good 100 Black people that have businesses that I've never even heard of, that have been making millions on the internet without being a super social person on the internet. And it was encouraged me because, a lot of times here on the echo chamber, that is YouTube and that is Instagram. You see the same 5 people. Now, God bless them. Their marketing is great. Skynet wants you to keep seeing those same 5 people. But there's a sea of people who are successful, professional, and they don't have Instagram pages. And they, other than for work, right? We're meeting speakers. We're meeting all kinds of people who, have businesses related to medical, construction, you name it, doing amazing, right? So a lot of times what happens is we harness our focus in on a small echo chamber. And instead of saying, I would be doing better if it wasn't for this job. I would be doing better if it wasn't for this particular spouse. I would be doing better if, and we keep trying to justify our feelings, right? Because there's many a days you wake up, you don't want to go to the gym. I woke up this morning, I did not want to go work with my trainer. I worked out, crushed it, right? I have my chef bring me plant-based food. Wake up like, man, I would love some bacon. But we're going to eat this plant-based, we're going to eat this oatmeal, and then we're going to eat the rest of the day plant-based. And so a lot of times we try to justify bad behavior and being out of sync with who we are with emotion. Let me be very clear. You will never feel like scrubbing a floor. You'll never feel like cleaning toilets. You'll never feel like mopping. You'll never feel like these things. These are things that in your emotion mind, if you stay in your emotions, you'll never feel like doing anything. You'll feel like doing what is most comfortable. The average person's mind and body is going to do what is most comfortable. Go look at your Fitbit. It will show you your resting heart rate, right? And it'll show you how many hours. That's why people have Fitbits who say, get up and go walk. Go take 150 steps. Go do something. Because you need that interruption, right? A lot of people say, well, Ericka, I'm not feeling good. Well, it's hard to feel good when you're not in sync with who you think you are. Now, listen, if you're 5'4" and you think you should be on NBA, listen, you're not in sync with who you should be either. You might want to twirl on that one, fix that. But a lot of times we want to get in communities. We want to get communities shared pain. Now, what do I mean? Okay. And again, it doesn't always have to be extreme as what you guys think of pain or people hurting each other. But hey, man, I hate my job. Me too, man. I hate my job too. And they do studies that show 73% of people just hate their job. And guess what? The job still has to get done, right? But really, you don't hate your job. You hate that you see yourself as a different type of person. Well, I didn't see myself keeping this job for this long, but because I live in Virginia, and even though you can move from Virginia. Oh, Ericka, you don't know. I can't move from here. Why? Why can't you move? Well, there's only 2 Black people in Georgia, and I can't move there. And my grandma, my Uncle Tom, Pom, Pim, and them. And a lot of times we make these imaginary, invisible barriers of struggle. I would have been happy. The number one thing I hear from people when I get on the phone, that one time I was 22 and I moved to Atlanta for 5 months. I loved it. I wish I could go back. And I go, well, dang, well, how old are you now? I'm 47. But that one time I lived somewhere else, I was so happy. And what you're saying is, I am not finding new joy and new opportunity in the city I currently am in. Now, listen, do we need to get up and move sometimes? Of course. Sometimes people have to get up and move. And I'm no proponent against that. Okay. But a lot of times we're living in a past life. We're living in something that's already gone. I remember one time, she'll never see this, but it's funny. This girl was saying, she felt like the Lord had this man for her. And everybody was like, well, where is he? What happened to him? Did y'all break up? Yeah, and he got married and he has a kid. And I just feel like he is out of alignment with what the Lord wants. We were all sitting there with our mouths open to hear, like, what? Girl, come on now. That's crazy. That's like, we literally had to step back and be like, did you hear what you just said? This man has gone on, partnered with another woman, married, had children, and went on with his life. And you are still sitting here in this imaginary world, right? Okay. And so a lot of times we get into these places of shared pain with the one that got away. Okay, that person's gone on about their life. Pick another, right? There's 7 billion people on the planet. To say that there was only one person, that's a little crazy, right? And a lot of times I was posting something. I was on a boat and I posted, and people were like, man, you're posting on a boat in the pandemic, Ericka. Gosh, I literally had to, I wasn't going to respond. And Aaron is in here. AM1 did a good job of saying don't respond in anger, which was funny, but I did respond to that person. I said, listen, there are kids starving in Africa right now. There's kids starving in India, but yet you're sitting at your house eating your food. Do you feel bad for that? No, you can never be poor enough, broke enough, sad enough to help other people. If you're ever on the plane, the first thing they do is say, take that mask, put it on yourself first, then assist your family and little children. Why? Because our first instinct is to, oh my God, my kids, put this on my face, put this on my spouse, and put this on everybody else. Put the mask on your own face and then proceed from there. I remember this guy was saying, oh man, I gotta have this thing. I gotta have it by Thursday. If I don't have it by Thursday, oh God, guess what? Called him on Friday. I'm like, man, what happened? Nothing. Oh, nothing, huh? Because these imaginary deadlines and timelines you have, it's people's resistance to having to say no. Right? They don't want to have to say no. So then they put it on you. And then you have to tell them no. And they're like, man, you told me no, Ericka. Yeah, I had to tell you no. They don't want to be the person responsible for saying no. So that's why when a lot of people tell me they're going to quit their job and they're going to start their own business, And I go, really, let's do an inventory of how many times you showed up late for work, how much you put into your job, how many hours you spent on Facebook goofing off while at work, and how much time you're really allocating. Because when you really see that, you probably work half the day. Can you start a business and work half the time? No, because if you don't work, you don't eat, right? And a lot of times people are going, well, your priorities are off. It doesn't look good. Here's the thing. I saw this girl get married in Hawaii. Well, not Hawaii. It was like an island. I'm trying to think which island it was. One that either Antigua, somewhere. It was beautiful. And she had family and friends there. And people were like, oh my God, I can't believe this girl got married and put it on social media in the pandemic. And you have to realize they want you to share in a low vibrational pain with them. This imaginary, we are all in this together, but we're not. If I am hungry, will you feed me? If my family is burnt out of house and home, will you give them another house? No, that's not how that works. So this whole imaginary shared pain thing is really damaging to communities, to people, right? I'm trying to be careful here. A lot of times people see you enjoying life, and there should be a ultimate focus on enjoying life long term, because people want you to be in this pain place with them, even though they've made poor decisions. Like, I'm sorry you made poor decisions. Now you got to make better ones. They want you to be in this shared playing position with them. And you have to let them know, hey, I'm really sorry that's happening to you, but I'm doing this. Right? Someone said something to me the other day, like, oh, you went to Cabo for your birthday. Huh? That's crazy. I go, I've been working in my business for 7 years. I've been eating crow all 2020, stuck in a house, stuck in an office, just working myself. Me having a heart attack or being sick or fell over dead is not going to make any business I have better. Me not enjoying this money is not going to make the IRS any happier. Me not going on about my life is not going to open doors for the business to grow. Okay? A lot of times people want to look at your life and say, well, I wouldn't do this because I were you, I would do this. But you're not me. And you haven't made the investments or the sacrifice. And you haven't built anything. Well, I've been thinking about building this thing for 10, 20 years. And why hasn't it been built yet? Okay? So a lot of times people want to talk the talk of, man, I want to quit this job. Man, I sure do need a new car. Man, I sure do need these things. And what you have to realize is this is something someone wants you to share in the pain of wanting, instead of sharing in the joy of living. Right? And it's the same thing when people get married, you should get a bunch of new married friends. When people start a business, you should get a bunch of business friends. When people start dating, you should get around dating friends. These are things that are common sense. And why? Because people want shared pain. Man, I can't find anybody out here to date. You can't? 7 billion people on the planet? Nobody qualifies for you? Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane, right? And you just let them go on with that conversation. So again, as you'll see on the rest of the year of the channel, we will be having business owners come on the channel, okay? Same thing when it comes to Rise of 20%. We'll have 40 new interviews, 10 new downloadable assets, a lot of great content and things coming to it. Because here's the thing, you're in that group for elevated mindset. We're not going to talk about all the negative things that happen in the news, because we would run out of time talking about all the negative things that happen in the news. I want to hear about your wins. I want to hear about where you're planning to go. I want to hear about what your new elevation points are in life. Okay? And again, a lot of times people want to say, Ericka, I'm going to start this business. And I really want to encourage you to start it. But when I start asking you questions about, okay, are you inventorying what you're good at? Are you inventorying your time? Can you tell, this or that? If you're just an employee that just shows up to work and everything's done and you're just data entry, better be careful on that. You got to be careful on that. But yeah, so I'm super excited for the spring and I'm excited for the summer. As far as a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're traveling and expanding the business. How? Because you have to plan it. It doesn't happen if you don't leave. You have to pick up and just create the life you want. And I'm trying to think of the book, but it basically was like, most people are living life as gosh, what's the name of the part? If you're in the movie, you have the lead actor, then you have the assisting role or whatever. Most people are living their life as the assistant role. You can't live like that. You can't live for everybody else and not live for yourself. It will not do any good. And there's this guy who has an article, he has a speech, I think you can find on YouTube. It's like, life begins at 40, right? And I was like, okay, what is this about? Let me go check it out. But again, it was like around 40 is the time we start having less friends. It's more family oriented. It's more, okay, I'm really in those jet stream of my career and my life. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and I could just add on more, and the rest of the next 40 years will be great. That's not so for everybody. And I can see that from YouTube. I can see that from the internet. I can see a lot of people are really struggling as they go into the late 40s and 50s. A lot of people are saying, well, I'm in my 50s, but I'm going to go start over and have a whole nother family. I'm going to get married and have more kids. And that's fine. But please examine the reasons you're doing that. Right. And a lot of people are trying to course correct. Because again, if you're 40 right now, where you are right now is from a decision you made at 30. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Because a lot of people do this. Coast. Okay. Without friction, without uncomfortable moments, without forced change, without jobs you don't like, without situations that are uncomfortable, you will not grow and you will not change. That's just the facts. Okay. So again, pull yourself, examine yourself this summer, decide, okay, where do I want to elevate? Where do I want to go? And it will require something different. You are not going to be able to just sit in the most comfortable position and have absolute change. It does not work. It does not work. Okay. And so for those of you in the Rise 20% and those of you in the YouTube class, we got some good heat coming, because that's just my nature, is to keep growing and growing and sharing and pouring it into you. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Okay. So again, that's all I had for you guys today. I wanted to definitely, bring you some questions if you have any. I've been ranting for a little bit here, but I just want you to understand that a lot of people are trying to, I need to get out of this dead end job, Ericka. Totally got to get out of it. And I always want to go, is it the job? Or is it other external forces that are making you think this is a dead end job? Right. So we really have to examine that when we say those things, like, oh man, this job, they're killing me. The manager, oh, I got to go. And it's like, okay, if you think you have a more potential somewhere else, let's definitely get you started. Let's get you into LinkedIn. Let's get you promoted. Let's get you talking to recruiters. But a lot of times what happens is I want to live like I see on Instagram, which is a very curated look of life. And I want that. I don't know what it took to get it, but I want that. And so this job now sucks. So that's kind of thing. But if you can, definitely check out S&S Consulting and also Mentor Shelly. They offer resume and interview tips and tricks for people who need to fix their LinkedIn and to get their resume straight. And also, I hope you're having a wonderful day. So anyways, you guys, I think I have a show later today with DJ the Money Coach. I'm not certain. I have to go check my schedule. But I will definitely let you know. Someone said, it's not the job. There's always something better waiting on you to make a decision. For sure. And again, the average person makes about 35,000 decisions in a day. So let me say that again. The average person makes 35,000 decisions in a day. So every little, oh, should I do this? Should I get that? Should I catch up on my burger? Should I do this? Should I do it? All these little decisions can be overwhelming for people. So again, that's why when people are like, oh, my job hates, and then you start digging back and peeling through it, 14 things happened today that made them hate their job, right? 15 things happened today that made them hate social media. 17 things happened that made them hate something else. And so you really have to peel back, where's that coming from? Because even as a business owner, you'll have those same experiences, just different level. So again, you got, yes, decision fatigue, great word. That's why they naturally go down to what is the most easiest decision. Again, that's why you see Steve Jobs and them were always wearing a black shirt, and blue jeans to cut down his decision making in the morning, right? Several people I know, and this is good or bad, I don't want to go too crazy, but a lot of higher intelligent people wear the same colors all the time, eat the same food over and over again. Warren Buffett eats McDonald's every day. Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, didn't like him, ate McDonald's every day before he got in the White House, right? They have very simplistic choices because they're spending so much time making other choices. Yeah. So again, Zuckerberg does too. Yeah, a lot of these people, I try to stay in my warm, dark colors: blue, red, green, blue, red, green, black, blue, red, green, black. You can always improve your life. You can always improve your life at any age. I just want you to understand that, like, whatever decision you make today, say you're 25, your 35-year-old self will thank you, because it takes a snowball effort to get there, because most of us are doing this. Now, when you do this, that's when you see these people who are like, how did 3 years they made $10 million? How in 3 years did they make $1 million? How in 3 years did they change their whole life? Everything around their shuffleboard had to change. That means people, that means girlfriends, that means friends. I've seen people start businesses, the business be absolutely successful, and they end up getting a divorce. And you go, what happened? There's more money. What's the problem? It's not just the money. Them as a person has changed. Their outlook on life has changed, and their spouse has not, or has changed in a different direction. I've seen this several times where I'll go to a conference or I'll go to a meeting or I'll follow back up with somebody like, oh yeah, I got a divorce. I'm like, dang, what happened? Like, business has been great. Everything else has been great. I saw you taking all these vacations. Well, stuff happens, fall apart. Which really means we grew apart. Okay, that's what it really means. So again, that fear versus revenge, a lot of people are in a fear mode, trying to hold on to job, friends, situations in life a little too long. You have to really like shuffle the board. Every 6 months to a year, when I see people with new sets of friends, and I don't even question it anymore, because that's just as you change and grow in your business and your life. Okay, this fits better for me, this don't. This fits with me, this don't. This is in alignment with where I'm going, and this isn't. Just that simple. It happens that quickly. Yeah, K Business Podcast. She said she got her PPP and got everything. I mean, again, that's the thing. Right now, there's people. I was in a group. I'm in a Facebook group, and people were literally saying, "Well, can I still get my LLC and get PPP?" And I was like, "Did somebody just ask this? In what are we in April 2021? When they're gonna ask you on a PPP, was your business open in February 2020?" I want y'all to understand. Miss Lady L, do you cut people off? You don't cut people off, but you spend less time. Spend less time. Now, what do I mean? If you're around a friend and all they do is complain, you start making yourself less available to hear the complaints. Now, when they have good news to share, you show up. Yeah. But then when they start sharing bad news, you start getting real scarce. Now, somebody can say, well, Ericka, that's being fair with her friend. No, that's training a person what you want to hear. People have done it to me. When someone can't manage their emotions and they're just emotionally vomiting on you, I'm trying to be nice here in the wording, they are showing that they don't have control in their life, and so it's just spiraling. Other things are spiraling, right? Conversations, things they're doing are spiraling. You spend less time with those people. That's just all there is to it. Like right now, when I went to that event, the weekend was so amazing because so many people were like, oh, I'm so glad to be here. I don't have to wear no stupid mask. And they were from different states. There were people from Oregon, California, Canada, as I told you on the video. There were several people from all over the United States. And they all had these different experiences of, one, being exhausted as a business owner trying to explain what they do, two, trying to grow their business, and three, trying to also network at this event. So in that span of a time, you talk about 35,000 decisions in a daily, you're exhausted. So you have to spend less time with those people. Just point blank period. Like, hey, this, or somebody makes, let's say there's a business decision and people go, oh man, that one business decision just took me out. That's not true. You know, G Logan, I'll ask that question on Tech Days. What today is not a Tech Day. Tech Tuesday is Tech Tuesday. A lot of people say, well, oh, this one thing, I got, everybody's one paycheck from homelessness. And that's actually not true. It's an actual like spiral system. It's like by the time you see a person and they done lost a car, they done lost their apartment, they done lost their this, they done lost that, like several things happen. Several things happen for that to happen, right? Or because if they just because they lost their job, they had no savings. Okay, let's say they have a vehicle. You can take loans out on vehicle. You can sell stuff. There's so many steps that happen before that. I remember talking to this guy and his car broke down. But before that, he was like 3 weeks. He had started Ubering and delivering stuff. He's like, oh, Uber tore my car up. And this is why I'm about to be out of my apartment. No. No, you needed to start Ubering and delivering Lyft probably about 5 months ago. You waited and waited until the unemployment did not show up. You waited and waited until there was no other force. Like you were forced to go do something that day and be productive. And your car just happened to cut up, right? That's what ended up happening. And so what a lot of people got to realize is as they excuse me, as situations change and move and people start moving around and changing their environment and changing it up, that they're going to come up with these friction moments where people want you to be in shared pain with them. And you have to go, no, thank you. Take that back over there. Please take that back to where you are. And you have to sometimes walk away, right? Some things that I am okay with people sharing is like, divorces or anything, miscarriage or anything like that on Facebook. I go, man, that's really sad. I'm really sorry that you're in that terrible season. We can have empathy, but we're not going to keep sitting in a painful place unnecessarily. That's not in our alignment, right? So again, somebody be like, Ericka, you need to have some empathy. These people, getting kicked out of their places is crazy. We've been in the pandemic over a year now. We're past March 2021. Right? A lot of times when you read the articles on the family, some of those people worked the whole time. Just didn't pay any rent. Was like, well, I ain't got to pay it. They ain't let me pay it, so I ain't going to pay it. Right? And then so those people getting kicked out, people are like, oh, that's so sad. I'm like, is it though? These are things that were preventable. A rise to impact. That's why people need to invest in a coach instead of dumping on people. Yes, the crazy part is when you talk about getting therapy, sometimes people are going to therapy for the people in their life that won't go to therapy. And I never understood that till I started like making massive changes in my life and going, okay, I need to manage how, my mother or this person or whoever speaks into my life, because their tendency was like, well, you could always go back and get a job. No. Right? Or they downplay your gifts or go, well, those gifts are from the Lord, which is true. The Lord gives us all life, but it's what we do with them that make us spectacular. Okay? So again, you have to almost, and again, people get real like, oh, don't talk, you're in an echo chamber. Only echo chambers I sit in are a business. That's it. Because when I go to these conferences and I see people who look like me, dressed like me, average everyday folks who are making $1 million or are making, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 with simple systems, okay? Because of consistency, I know it's so many things possible, right? When some people try to call you silly and say you're not doing research, you're like, what are you talking about, right? Because again, that person's spending their time elevating themselves into, I would say de-elevating themselves into negativity. Well, I wouldn't do that because I was telling somebody I was getting ready to travel. I was gonna, I was gonna go to Dallas to Frankfurt, from Frankfurt to Croatia, from Croatia to Greece. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I would not travel. Lord knows I wouldn't travel. And I was sitting there like, I've been traveling this whole thing. What are you talking about? Right? You know what I mean? Like, again, like I've been traveling since this whole thing started. Now, there was points where I was like, okay, I'm going crazy. I got to go see my family. You got to get out of the state of Texas. But most of this whole pandemic, people have been traveling. I remember getting on plane, it was half empty. Now it's mostly full. So again, you have to really let people Let people have their moment. Let them say what they want to say about being scared, and that's fine. You go, okay, okay. I empathize with you. And then you go on about your life quickly, right? And a lot of times people say, well, I don't understand WeWork, and I don't understand Common Desk, and some of these places that are co-working spaces. And I go, because people are hard to motivate by themselves, because they're already doing 35,000 decisions a day, right? They're already arguing with their friends and family, trying to convince them of this thing they have that works. If they're working remote, they've lost that aspect of an office and routine. So yeah, they'll go to a place like WeWork. That's why WeWork's having a little bit of a bounce back. And Common Desk and all these places are having a bounce back, co-working spaces, because people want to get back into a routine. And they want to be around like-minded people. You go by office, and the other day, I can't say the location because I don't want to mess up his space, but a YouTuber that has 1 million subscribers, and he talks about little stuffed animals, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he talks about like stuffed animals, the whole little world. Anyway, he was in there, whole office set up. It was beautiful. And I was like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber too. And he lit up, like eyes lit up like quarters, wanting to talk. And, and I was just like, that's why people go to co-working spaces, because those people in there get it. If they're a business owner, they get it. Right. So again, you'll see the channel change. We've already talked about this. Y'all know through the partnership and all these things, you're going to see some of the channel change. We've got maybe 39 weeks left or 38 weeks left in the year. The summer, we will be on very light schedule where we're gone. We're just going to kind of managing the partnership to make sure it's, the ads run like they should, and a lot of people are getting enrolled in class. But if you want the real in-depth mastermind stuff, is going to be in the Rise for 20% part 2 in the YouTube class part 2. So again, those prices go back up. They go up on April 24th. Don't act surprised, because I already told you. Get in now. Use the new life code 50% off before this happens. Don't act like, oh my God, Ericka trying to be brand new with new prices. Again, you have you have people investing thousands of dollars into themselves, whether it's accounting, firms, CFO information, like literally dumping thousands of dollars into themselves, their business, their life, their physics, our trainer, everything. And people are like, okay, we'll give that to us for free. That doesn't happen in any world. Okay. So again, thank you, Mark Swift. I appreciate it. And thank you, Nigel, for the $10 cash out, super chat. But yeah, you guys, this is your girl Ericka from Classy Clown Blog. If you want to grab any of those courses while they're discounted now before the website changes some, it's the 50% off code is called New Life. One word. So, all right, you guys, I'll see you later when I do my second show for later. Later.